The SQ is Waitomo Blue.
Yeah, I shot that in I think South Africa. I remember.
Yeah. Uh, if you know.
Yeah, great color and great
Yeah,
rims.
thank you.
You have immaculate taste. Those Avos ones look
Thank you.
beautiful. Who
Thank you.
those were made by who? Which company?
So it's a company in the US called Nemesis Autosport. A friend of mine has run them for years. They've gotten into making wheels, and they're as I understand it, I could be wrong. So I just say it with that caveat, but I believe they're working with the same supplier as Vorsteiner.
Mhm. Oh,
Um,
cool.
and they're forged and very close to the RS6 GT.
Yeah, I was about to
So
ask that. Did they do that before the GT dropped or after?
no, I think they did it after. I mean, I think ultimately, I
There
think it
was
was
somebody,
Rotiform.
somebody made those before RS6 GT. It was Rotiform or somebody. I don't know who.
Rotiform and
Yeah.
rotiforms have like lug covers. Like a rotiform has like a standard lug cover with like kind of a hex center cap on it. And I had those on an RS6 for a while, and I loved them. They look
Mm,
good on any Audi, I think. And
yeah.
and of course, the RS6 GT wheel is even more OEM looking, so I have no issue with that.
So you had the
Uh,
T8 R6?
I got, it was a long story, but I found during the pandemic, I've never had a car that expensive. And, in the pandemic, you're kind of looking at your own mortality. And I found the car, it was in the US, they called it an RS6 Tribute. I think they were like the 25 something
No,
edition. And
girl?
it was Nagaro Blue. Uh,
Eh,
20, 25
right.
cars were built the same, identically, and they were all sold usually with markups. And I found mine used very quickly. The first owner traded it at a Range Rover dealer, and the Range Rover dealer didn't know what they had. So I bought it at normal RS6 money.
Well, that's crazy. Every time I talk to somebody who said they owned an RS6, directly the
Yeah.
first question comes to my head is like, why would you ever let go of
Why
an
would you sell
RS6?
it?
Yeah.
Boy, I'll tell you, I was working for Audi Club at the time, and everybody would say, like, yeah, you're going to keep this car forever, right? And I think, I think you tell me if you think I'm wrong. My problem with the modern cars is that once they get off warranty, the costs of like those massive brakes and service and repairs, um, it's not like some of the, I have an older Quattro, and I've had some of the older cars, but the newer cars are just seem like they're so expensive to maintain off warranty that once you get off warranty, I don't really want to own them anymore. And I love them. I just don't want to be the guy paying for the repair bills.
Yeah, you got a point for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, congrats on the Escalade. It looks nice. You just got to get that front badge because you don't know if it's an Q8 or Escalade coming from the front. You can't tell.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I come from the era that like, the whole debadged thing and a sleeper is a cool thing, but the other thing I'm kind of wrestling with, I do want to do a badge on that grill, but I'm wrestling with because I'm a font nerd. Even though the new font is like kind of more boring than the old font,
Hmm.
it's what's on the back of the car, and it's the new normal and whatever. So part of me wonders if in the US they sell like the B10 S5 with an S badge, and of course the number's gone, which is kind of lame. But what that does
Ridiculous.
mean is I can take that S badge from the S5 or the SQ5 and try and make that fit my car too. And I don't know.
Yeah, I would just, well, it's your car, but I would replace the trunk badge with the classic one, and I would put the classic on the front as well, because that trunk
Uh,
badge is ridiculous. Well, you know what I think about it. I've been very
sure.
loud about it, so I'm not going to change my mind.
So So well, maybe this will help you at least accept it, which I think I could be wrong. I believe it's Audi type font, which is their current. If you look up like the current CI guidelines, they keep a database online. But that actually comes from Audi Sport. Sport started using that font before
It just
Audi
looks
start.
naked now.
Yeah,
It's not italic anymore, and it's just.
yeah,
But speaking of fonts, when I was in the Formula One thingy, when the livery of the Formula One was released at a huge event, when Döllner was speaking and the Formula One guy, Italian guy, was speaking, all of that, you could see fonts in the back
yeah.
of texts and everything. And after that, when we had like a kind of after party or whatever you call it, dinner, after that, one of the guys at Audi came to me and said, what do you think about the new font? I'm like, which font? You didn't see the letters behind?" I was like, no. Well, I saw them, but I didn't pay attention. Yeah,
Right.
that's Massimo's new font take.
Okay.
So whatever was on that meeting, that's where Audi's gonna go.
Well, I guess we'll
So
see that on January 20th, maybe when they do the team reveal.
yeah, yeah, and speaking of that, 28th of January, I'm going to shoot the new RS5.
Oh,
So
congratulations. Are we allowed to talk
yeah,
about that?
um, I guess, yeah. Well, we can, but there's another one. There's another car in there, and it's the RS3 that everybody thought was going to be an RS3 GT, which is not.
No.
It's a version with just a few more horses and
Okay.
just really worthy. Any I don't know. It's not. I don't. I mean, I have no idea what they're doing, why they're doing it, but it's
Right.
just embarrassing.
I have to assume, and if you know and you're not allowed to talk about it, I get it. So whatever. But I mean, the formula so far for the RS6 GT and for the what was the Imola RS4 that we didn't
But it's
get.
5 years. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's largely right. Like it's the KW coilovers, the maybe more aggressive all-wheel drive, like the
Yeah, but
software
still,
governing
you
the
have
hardware drive.
400 horses. I mean, I don't know. It's so embarrassing. They're gonna drop a car that has like I don't know 410. I don't know the number yet, but I know it's just a few
Right.
horses more. But and then you got an M2 competition, which is 500 plus. So it's
Yeah.
like, what are you doing? Like, why? What's the
So
point?
do
Uh,
you? Here's where I'm going to play devil's advocate, and I may just be weird on this. I don't know, but it's like you got a couple old cars too. I drive the old stuff, the Quattro. I have a Radiator Quattro, and I have a 964, and those cars to me are like. I think nowadays with the electrics, like you look at you spent more time in the RC Tron GT than me.
mm,
Like electrics make speed, and especially the new modern 911s and whatever else, make speed just
yeah,
so like almost irresponsible level of speed, right? For
yeah,
like a
yeah,
lot of
yes,
untrained
yes,
drivers.
yeah,
So like
yeah.
I
I
kind
agree.
of don't. You give me like a really well sorted chassis. I had for a little while. I had an RS5 competition in the US, which is I forget what they called the full KW setup in the
Yeah,
RS5 and RS4 over there.
yeah.
But dude, I love the car. It was honestly, if it weren't too
Oh,
small
that
for my
was great.
kids, I would still be in
Great.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a great car. It's just that they
yeah.
stripped the RS3 of all the masculinity, that you could get. I
Did
got a
they?
friend who just no, no. I mean, like in term of 8Y facelift, the
Oh
last
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah.
My friend just
Yeah.
got one a few days ago, and he had all the RS3 generations, and now he finally bought the 8Y.5. And the first thing he said to me is like, I can't accept the shifter. I can't
Hmm.
accept
The,
the shifter. It's like a light switch. Like, what are they thinking? Even if it's
the ch-
automatic, I like to put
yeah,
my gearbox in manual so I can do the switches in manual. I don't want to do
yeah,
those manuals, and it's such a game changer that they removed it. And for me, I would never get an RS3 because of that
yeah.
nib I call. I can't.
The, ch-
I cannot
the
own a
chicken
car.
nugget.
Yeah,
The,
it's
it,
ridiculous. It's embarrassing. It's
That's
embarrassing.
like, well, I will say I drove when I was thinking about what to get, and my kids didn't weigh into me on the RS5. When I was looking at the RS5, I also looked at a used
Mm,
RS3 8Y, like pre-facelift. Um,
yeah.
and it was one of the things the previous owner did was I don't know where they found it. I Alibaba, I have no idea, but it looked relatively OEM. It didn't feel OEM necessarily, but
Huh?
it was identical to the 911, which is also kind of a chicken nugget that's in the new
Yeah.
911.
Yeah.
And it dropped right in, like it wasn't the materially it wasn't as good as the 911, but the base like attached to the RS3. Like if you pull the RS3 shifter out and put that in, it fit in like almost an OEM way. It just if you get in a 911, the materially it wasn't quite as nice, but I
Yeah.
don't know. I feel like they should do better. It would be kind of neat if it had the 911 one. I don't like either one of them, frankly. I'd rather have the shifter like what's in the B9s and in the
Or
C8s. Like
even your SQ8. Even your SQ8 has a nice shifter.
yeah,
That
yeah.
works.
That
And that's the thing.
handrest.
Yeah. And then the
Yeah,
thing is, it's such an important thing. It's
right.
such an important thing for the buyer. And they should know it because they should know the customer group, who buys their cars. They should know these things. And that's what makes me so upset every single time is I don't get it, and I don't get
Do,
it.
do you think it's like the pessimist in me thinks it's like people who've inherited positions of power in these car companies, and Audi's not the only guilty brand of this, but like they're not necessarily car people, and
Yeah.
they're chasing volume, and so Q5
Money,
cells make more Q5s, right?
yes,
But
more money.
in the U.S. we just got sick of the sales reports, and I caught a headline. I haven't checked it to verify it yet, but they're saying like
Yeah,
the
the
worst
worst.
Audi sales this decade, or maybe
Yeah, yeah.
in
Come
quite some
on.
time.
No, I think it's even more back. I think it's probably 2 decades.
Yeah,
I can't. The funny thing is like, and it's heartbreaking when I say this because when I see the new, let's say back in the days when I saw Audi on the street, I admired it. I was like, oh, that owner has to have taste. He's got a really nice, nice taste because he bought that car. And now when I see the new A5 or I
yeah,
see the new U5, I wonder to myself, why the hell did he buy that car? You know? And that's crazy to
yeah.
me.
I don't. I'm okay with the new SQ5. I kind of like it. The shape, the proportions, I think, are a little
No, no,
better than the.
the proportions are okay, but the inside is
I haven't
just
been in one yet.
it's terrible. That's where you spend the most time in, you
Is
know.
it the same? That's a Mexican built car. Is it? I've been
Yeah,
in the A5 and the A6. They're the
same,
plastic, particularly the lower door plastics, are
same.
really. But I hear a
Everything is
lot of brands are doing that too. So like, it doesn't please me. I'm not. That doesn't give Audi an excuse. But I think
yeah.
that's kind of sadly where the car industry is going right now. Unless you're like
Uh,
super rich, like a Bentley or a Lamborghini, then okay, they spend the money.
yeah, but remember back in the days, not long ago, 10
Yeah,
years ago, Audi's
yeah,
interiors were on level on Bentley and Lamborghini. So
right,
where it's going now? Why should we buy an Audi when their level of the interiors are lower than freaking Asians or Skodas or whatever? Like why? So
right.
I just really hope that we are at the lowest point now, and for whatever is going on from now on forward will be better because it has to be. It has to be. We have to get that passion back for the brand. And the funny thing is like the same thing. So many people think the same thing as us. It's like when I was
Yeah,
doing a concept C shoot in what was it, 2 weeks ago, and one of the guys that was with me then, he was the one that made the TT Club Sport Turbo concept, you know. And I
hmm
asked literally, we spent 2 days together with the team and everything. And I asked him also this question: when was the last time you felt alive when you drove an Audi? When was the last time you felt like this is And he was like, oh my God, that was a long time ago. That was like I took the words out of his mouth. I was like 2018. He was like, yes, exactly.
yeah, yeah.
2018. Because that was the R8
C7.
V10 performance parts, the
Yeah,
C7.5, all of that, you know?
yeah.
After
Did
that,
you see?
yes,
Did
the
you?
heist. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yes,
C7.
that's my car. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's my car. That's funny. Yeah, but that's the greatest. I said it before. I said it again. I will do a long tribute to it as well. The C7.5 R6 is absolutely unbeatable car. That's crazy.
I mean, unfortunately never got it, and I think I maybe got a little bit of time in it in Europe at one point, but we only ever got the RS7, but still a wonderful car.
Yeah, you know what? How come the RS7 got a wide body in the second generation? That was a story I heard actually, an inside story 2 weeks ago. I was
Oh,
going to post it in my RS7 video, but I found it out a little bit too late. So then I
yeah,
made the RS6 video, and the same guy was the Stefan Farbecker. He was telling me how he came up with the idea of putting the same front lights, headlights from the A7 on the RS6 to save all those billions. So they say they saved
yeah.
€7 million on that, and which they could justify
Uh,
that on the RS6. Well, now I see you haven't seen my latest RS6 video because I was talking about it.
I haven't yet. No, I meant to catch before
So,
this
okay,
recording, and I didn't make it.
but basically, they saved €7 million on the idea that the headlights on the RS6 was taken from the A7 because
Hmm.
then they have the same headlights, same front bumper, same rear bumper, and that saved the money for the wide body for the RS7. And
That's fantastic.
why did the RS7 get the wide body? Now here is the funny story. The owner of Bayern Munich went to the CEO back then and say, listen, everybody's buying the RS6 because the RS7 is not wide enough. Do something about it. And that's how the idea started.
There
So
was. Do you know? I don't know the numbers offhand, but I seem to remember back in the day the A7. This was like right after they had done the like MLB Evo, so it was much more. I guess even with MLB, it was scalable. Both, so an A5 could be like as wide as the Q5,
yeah,
but as long as the A4, and it wasn't incredibly costly for them to do. And I thought the A7 was the footprint was the same as the RS6, but because the A7 was already that wide
yeah,
anyway,
yeah, they
they
couldn't.
did they right.
Yeah,
But I will say the headlight thing is actually I don't know if Stefan knew this or not. Maybe they did. But like to me, it always reminded me when they did that on the C8s. If you remember back in like the C3, right? Like here it was the 5000. Over there it was like this,
yeah,
the Type 44, 100, and 200. The 200
yeah,
always had those kind of like shorter, meaner looking headlights, and then the 100 had like the bigger, dopey, like
yeah,
fish
yeah.
aquarium headlights. And so I thought they were trying to do that, right? Like make the meaner cars have the more aggressive look and have the everyday businessman's A6 be kind of not as cool.
Yeah, yeah, and also he said that, especially on the C8 platform, implementing a V8 in that platform was really expensive, he said, and
Was
most
it?
probably it was just after the Dieselgate and
Yeah.
everything platform, and then yeah, so it was really, really expensive, and they did everything to save money on every single corner, and the headlights was one of those things, and actually, yeah, that was a
But it
good.
was a
I
cool
told,
touch.
yeah, it's a cool touch.
Yeah.
Um, because I never found the headlights of the C8, A6, S6 as nice.
Right.
Uh, C7, I think C7, both the A7 and the A6,
Yeah.
I think the headlights were amazing, So I don't think
Right.
if the A7 would have the same headlights as the A7, I don't think would look that good. But the C8
Yeah.
worked very well.
Yeah. And well, honestly, the early C7 A7 headlights I wasn't really a fan of, but when they did the facelift and they were all kind of more the same, it looked or more
Yeah.
uniform between A6 and A7, it looked better.
Yeah, yeah, that was good times. Great cars, man.
Yeah.
7 is such an amazing platform.
That was a great era.
Yeah. So do you have any anything specific you wanted to touch on this meeting or
What?
hour, or what do we call it?
Yeah, I figured we'd catch up.
Been a while. A
Yeah,
lot of things that happened.
I went back and checked. I think the last time we spoke was right after you'd first seen the Concept C and photographed it in the studio.
So that was before the Formula One event, and that was
It's
before the Concept C, and that was before me meeting Döllner in Doha.
right. Yeah. So we could catch up on all three of those things if you're game.
Uh,
I don't care what, like, I'm flexible, man. So whatever works for you.
yeah, because it's been 2 months, so it's been a lot. So plus I had
Well,
a terrible day today, man. You know
did you?
that the card that I'm about to reveal that I've been working on for a year that I've been
Uh huh.
restoring. I haven't revealed it yet on social media, but that's like kind of I've always
Right.
said it that the most important Audi ever made in the history, and I just got it back last
Did
week,
you?
and it's fully restored with new engine, new clutch, new brake disc, new shock absorbers, new gearbox, man, you name it. It was fully
Wow.
restored and it's amazing condition. And I'll probably
Is it?
reveal it in the next 2 weeks. So I'm not gonna say any model names or anything, but so today was the last day I was shooting it, and I went out in the desert in Qatar, and yeah, there was the last scene. Last scene I was gonna do, and I was like, okay, I gotta finish up with a little drift in the curve.
Oh no.
And I put my camera there. I was all alone, man. There was nobody there. It was beautiful sunset and everything. And well,
Right.
I pushed a little bit in the curve. And the crazy thing is that car, people will know which car that is soon, but that car, it feels like a rear-wheel drive car. It's ridiculous how it loses its back end if you have the ESP off. And I was not
Hmm.
ready for that. So what happened is what I lost control over the car and I banged it straight into my freaking camera and the tripod. So
No.
so so I literally slid into with the rear end. into my Canon R5 and my freaking lens, the 2470, and my tripod and everything.
Oh,
Literally smashed that. And so I completely destroyed my whole equipment. And on top of that, of course, I
it damaged
bumped
the
a
car
little
too.
bit, damaged the car a little bit. But the thing is, I mean, I had a guardian angel because I missed the lamppost by half a meter, which is like, I think, two.
Oh,
And I missed the tail light and I missed another part of the car. So it was actually, it's just a little bump in the fender, which is not the big thing, you know. So
yeah,
I'm so thankful that nothing more happened. I went out of the road. There was no curb, luckily. So, and you know what? I'm just thinking like this could have gone so much worse. I've never done
yeah,
anything. I could have smashed into the lamppost. And this car is completely restored for, man, for a lot of money. A lot. I mean, you know, and it's crazy. It happened like 3 hours ago. So no, and the thing is, the worst. I don't know if it's worst or the best part. That it was recorded, and the camera survived, even though it's completely gone. It's not usable,
right.
and but it survived and recorded the footage. So I
Took
was
the
talking
hit.
to him, and I'm like, I just want to delete it, man. And he's like, listen, wait a few months, post it on social media, it will freaking blow up. I'm telling you that.
Yeah,
Saw the
yeah,
footage.
it will. It's sad but true. At least, hey, make lemonade out of lemons. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Do you guys have you heard that saying?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's a terrible feeling, but as I said, there was no scratch
What?
on the wheel. The brake is everything, and it's ridiculous. But that I missed the freaking lamppost with,
Yeah,
the thing is, people say, oh, you cannot drive or whatever. Listen, everybody makes a little mistake sometimes.
totally. Yeah, dude.
I didn't think
Oh,
that that car was possible to lose control at. Like every time have seen that on the internet, I'm like, you cannot lose the control in that car.
right,
But today I found that you absolutely can if you just do one small move and then you cannot save it because the car kind of like. And the thing is, if I started to brake, I mean, what they teach you is when you lose control, don't brake, just steer it out. But I was
right.
going to the lamppost, so I had to brake. So the car kind of like turned around, and you can really see like I'm really drifting into the camera, and boom.
But it's a great shot.
Everything, yes, but everything is filmed. And the funny thing is
Yeah.
the camera survives, so it hits the ground, it rolls over. The tripod is all over the place. I mean, it's a heavy tripod. All the three legs were in pieces of the tripod,
Right.
and the DJI mics flew, I don't know how far, and the camera was still recording. So you can see me picking it up. I was like, oh my God, And so I don't know. When I looked at the car, I was like, okay, it's not bad. Then I ran into the camera, and then I was like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness. But yeah, so in a few months, probably I'll have a super viral video, and that's probably that one.
I bet. I mean,
Uh,
I'm sorry though. I know
it
I'm
sucks.
genuinely curious because I thought we talked about what that car was and
We
I
did,
thought
but
I
that was off
knew.
camera. I told you the model off camera.
Yeah, yeah, but then you just mentioned ESP and I thought it was too old for ESP.
Nah, nah. I'll
No?
tell you to return the conversation off today. But
Yeah, I mean I can edit it out too. But
yeah, I was thinking, oh, let me drift a little bit and just disappear behind the camera. Oh boy, was I wrong. Uh,
oh,
yeah, but yeah, it hurts. It hurts. Still hurts. It's
I'm
four
so
hours.
sorry for you.
Yeah, thanks, man. But it's fine. I'll take it to the garage, in 2 days, and they'll probably just. It's a small bump,
Any
it's just
paint scratched?
no, no. The thing is, the tripod took the biggest hit because it's protected by rubber. And I think at the top of the camera probably hit yeah, it's not, yeah, it's not that. I mean, you'll see it but not that much, but yeah, it can definitely be, fixed.
Yeah.
They had a few dents before I bought it, and Audi Qatar helped me with everything, so the paint was, yeah. Oh yeah, I'm just happy that it wasn't worse, but yeah, time to buy a new camera.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and you know how not cheap they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was my day today.
No, I'm sorry to hear it.
Yeah, that's fine. The good thing was that that was the last scene. I'll be shooting the 4 days. So that was the last scene. Just one more.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always that one more.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, let's go back to the topic. We were saying,
I mean, we've covered Concept C a lot, so I'm curious about the F1 events, and I'm curious about Döllner most. So if you're open to it, that's what I prefer to focus on.
Uh,
So when I say Formula One event, I'm talking about Audi One in Munich. You're talking about
no,
the
the
Grand
Formula One
Prix,
event,
right?
yes. Well, I met him both. So I met him in the Formula One in Munich, and then I met him at the Formula One in Doha. So
Okay. Well, let's start with Munich. That looked like a pretty rad event.
that was crazy. Yeah, that was really nice event. It was really amazing to see all those cars, historic cars. So yeah, it was funny to see Massimo come in with a TT.
Right.
Uh, no, but it was really, really something special, to see even what's the name of it? Auto Union Type C fire up those
Right.
16 cylinders, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah.
16 and the C and then
Yeah.
A and B have 16 as well. Those are the
Yeah.
Porsche design cars, and then the V12 in the Type T, but that's not Porsche.
Yeah, and then all those, the Quattros and the Sport Quattros and
Yeah.
turbo
And
sounds. It was such an
and you got into the warehouse too, right? Over at Audi Tradition.
Yeah, I was thinking of Ken Block, man. I was thinking of Ken
Yeah.
Block because when I was watching him a few years ago and he was walking him on those cars, I thought to myself, my God, I wish I was there someday, and
Right.
I was walking among those. I was thinking about him like, God damn it. So yeah, that was pretty
That's a
rare
neat
and
place.
cool. Yeah, it was really cool. They had really nice. It was really cool to see those Sport Quattros. They had a few. They had a blue one, a green one, a red one, and a white one next to each other. And
They have
that
a
car,
black one too, but it's not one of the. I think it's a
yeah,
repaint. It's not
yeah, yeah, the black,
Piek
yes,
or
correct, black one.
yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool to see them all there. I didn't film that much because I wanted to enjoy, for myself.
Yeah, I get it.
People were just filming. I was like, no, I want to enjoy this because it's
I
such a unique place to be. So I just did a quick,
it
walk around, but then
yeah.
I, looked at the cars myself.
Think I've been in there like maybe years ago. Well, I think the most recent time I was in there was maybe 2023, but prior to
You
that,
were there
in the
in that,
warehouse,
yeah.
yeah, and it's like the first couple times I went in back then they didn't really want it all out there. So for the first two times I went in there, it was just me and one of the guys from Audi Tradition, and we took our time just walking around and
Okay.
talk nerding out about everything, which probably took hours. I'm sure I bored him to tears. He was actually really into it. I'm just
It
being
was gotta
funny
be a
to
tall guy. What's his name? I forgot his name, but yeah, he was
at
really
Audi.
nerdy in a good way. And
Yeah,
Audi
yeah,
Tradition.
no, their whole team is wonderful, and they're super into it. And
Yeah, absolutely.
Timo runs at Audi Tradition, I guess, and then there's Simon and a
I
bunch
guess
of
it
the
was
other guys.
Timo. Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
it was Timo. Yeah, it was
yeah.
Timo.
I
Yeah, he
think
was
he's
really.
driving in the when you see the footage from Audi One. I think he's driving one of the cars too.
Yeah, yeah. That
People
was
wrote
him.
him.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, that was really cool. That was
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah. That facility. I think they have another way. Like if you look in the Audi Tradition book, there's another larger warehouse somewhere. I don't know of anybody other than
Yeah,
staff who've gotten into that place.
yeah,
Like pretty neat.
yeah. That would be interesting to take a look at that someday, but who knows?
Yeah.
I told Timo, listen, I want to get the 2010 Audi Quattro concept out because that to me is the greatest
Yeah.
concept I've ever made with the five-cylinder, manual gearbox
Totally.
and horses. And he said he's gonna look into it. It's not as easy because there was only one car ever made. I think it
Right.
made it. I think there's a video of it driving in California or something of streets.
I was on that drive. I drove it back then. But
You know it.
um
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
I'm jealous.
Well, they would do back then. They would do like, especially if it was in the U.S., if it was the L.A. Auto Show, they would bring the car in, and that. In fact, I think that year they showed that, and there was another concept. It was like it was one of the electrics. I can't remember which one.
Electric? I thought it was the A3 Club Sport. No, I know what you mean. That wasn't it that the spider kind of concept, the e-tron
It,
spider, which was
I think it was, yeah. And they did a drive around both of those cars, and
with a
back
small
then the
window,
PR. I'm sorry.
a small front window, kind of like
Y- Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they let press drive both of those cars that year, both in Malibu, separate events, and I didn't get in it. You know, they weren't really seeing me as a target media outlet for the e-tron, so I didn't go
Yeah.
to that one. But I drove that. That was a great year. Or I got to drive the drivetrain mule for that car was they had built it was early like MLB Evo prototypes and it had an A5 body. Apparently it was all aluminum. And
Yep.
they originally built the car as a 4 cylinder and then they put the 5 cylinder in it and that was the drivetrain mule for the Quattro. So I got to drive that car and beat on it. Like we were at a small track. And then
Yeah.
the Quattro was like I had somebody in the passenger seat, kind of like you with the concept
Yeah.
C. You get a sample of it, but it's not, you're not really on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but you would have loved it. We had it down at like I don't know if you're familiar with Malibu. We had it down at Point
Yeah, of
Mugu,
course.
like
Our
at
Switzerland was there.
sunset.
Oh man,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I
it
still have it
was
on my
amazing.
Google Map, saved the locations from Malibu. It's still one of
Yeah,
my favorite spots. Always, I met up with Tyler from Pacific German there, and I told him,
oh
man,
yeah, Tyler's great.
amazing roads, the canyon roads. And no, no, yeah, I remember I did the
Yeah,
Euro for I think back that was 2000. When did you have the R6 event in the US? 2019, gotta be in the end of
yeah,
2019. Yeah, that
yeah. I
was
didn't do
so.
that one, but that was in LA, was it?
Yeah, it was a lame, but
Yeah,
I drove to Malibu because yeah, but oh my God, it was 7 years ago. Time is running.
right. Yeah,
Yeah, got a notification on YouTube that I've been what a decade now. I've been on YouTube for 10 years since yesterday because I started YouTube much later than I started Instagram and everything. But I'm like, oh my God, 10 years and 1,000 videos. I'm like, time is running.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
a good 10 years ago was a really good time at Audi. Still
I mean,
2006.
there were budgets, right? Like they could do fun stuff, and I don't know. There are less budgets now, and it seems like everything is just volume. Like whatever TikToker has a million fans, let's go with them. And who cares if nobody cares
Let's
about whatever they're talking?
let's just hope that we hit the rock bottom now. I really
Yeah.
hope that it can't get any worse than I mean, you just said something there, TikTok, when I mean I removed the app a few days ago. I can't take it anymore because
Yeah.
I just can't. It's just not
Well,
it's not
I'm not here to beef on anybody in particular. I'd say it more because I'm an old man and I don't really care about TikTok. But more, it seems like now they only really look like what's your follower count? Let's do that. And back when I was in that scene, it was like I was
it's,
by far not the biggest, but they cared
it's
about hitting particular niches and being authentic. And
oh
it seems
yes.
like now they just care about follower
Yeah,
counts.
I was just at an event. I'm not gonna say with who, but I was just at an event where we had a track day and I was just laughing of the amount of
Yeah.
girls there, TikTok girls, was just walking
Yeah.
from car to car and posing on the hood with the tightest pants and everything. And I was thinking, like, why are they here?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
what's the reason for it? But
I did a Pirelli launch in Vegas. This is years ago. This like I don't know, 2017 or so, and
um,
it was we do like it's the supercar experience, and they just put Pirellis on all they rented all the cars from the supercar
yeah,
experience. So I got in like a Huracan, I got in a an R8, I got in a 911, I got in a I don't remember what else. But then they had basically Las Vegas Motor Speedway. They had the road course set up, and you would just jump from car to car
yeah,
and go out and do some laps. And there was like an Aventador in the mix. And I remember this. There was like some kind of influencer there who was not automotive in any way. I would argue he probably didn't even have a driver's license. And he gets in the car and he's literally in the Aventador driving around the circuit. No, we were all on the circuit, right? At any given time, there were probably like 10 cars on the circuit and they're passing each other. They didn't really limit us from, not the typical rules I would get at like a track, multiple
yeah,
people on track time. And this TikToker's driver, I don't know, he was a TikToker, whatever. He was an influencer, and he was driving around the circuit at like 30 miles per hour. He was like a rolling chicane, and it was
yeah,
uh,
of course.
crazy.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And it's not getting any better, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I have a sneaking suspicion that we hit so low now that
right.
we have to hit low to wake up. And I'm talking about Audi in particular. They had
Yeah,
to hit this low, and I think that everybody is understanding because the thing is, people think I'm just hating for the sake of hate, and the thing is, I liked the A5 when it came out. When I
right.
saw it first,
The B10.
the B10, I liked it.
Yeah,
Um, but then when months passed by and I started to drive them and spend time with them and, enjoy them, I thought, that's where you realize that something went terribly wrong because I
Yeah.
don't feel I'm driving an Audi from the interior wise. And I started to notice this plastics and this plastics logos and everything. So I think the base of the A5 is nice. The base of the A6 is nice, but they just got plasticized. So much
All
plastic
right.
everywhere. Lost their soul.
Yeah.
Start with those things, fix those things. And the funny thing is, like when I was talking to Gernot, on the Formula One event in Doha, and we spent a good hour together sitting at the dinner table at what do you call that? Well,
At the
somewhere,
race,
yeah, at the race, exactly.
hospitality.
Yeah, exactly. Hospitality. I had some good talks, and we were talking about the upcoming RS5, and I came with my RS6, so he just took a look at the RS6. He said it's a great car, and then he said, "Yeah, we're gonna have that back logo back on the RS5." And I'm like, "What do you mean? You're gonna put the old classic RS5 logo back?" And "Yeah, yeah, we're gonna do that." So I think he misunderstood me. I think that most probably he thought that I meant that they're not gonna have a model definition on the RS5, that it's just gonna be RS, which
Oh,
it never happened on the trunk. But I don't
yeah.
know if he meant that or he just misunderstood me. But if that is correct, that the old logo is returning on the RS5 on the trunk, I'm
Right.
all for it because it should not go anywhere. So, but
Right.
the RS5 is gonna have a quite a big power boost. It's gonna be, yeah, what
I'm
everybody
hearing. I'm hearing they're
600
both
plus.
hybrid.
They
Like.
are, yeah, that
Yeah.
600 plus, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I just hope that they fix the small things. I just hope I see some of, you know, um, efforts to fix, like maybe a real aluminum logo, Audi logo in the front. Maybe something more sporty inside. Maybe I'm just hoping that we'll put a little bigger gear shifter in there. Something that,
Right.
hey, we're listening. Do something.
Yeah.
So I know it's hard because the B10 is so fresh that to do a facelift that quick, but
Hey, I
I,
will say I'll probably pull this one out. So just, but I was chatting with somebody who's a little in the know here in the U.S. and I heard Q7 and Q9 may be delayed a bit because Massimo's making some changes to the interior.
Well, what he should do is make the changes of the split headlights. That's my biggest fear because
Yeah,
the how open I was about my
yeah,
criticism the Q3. I can't stand that car, and if I'm gonna have to go through the Q7 and Q9 looking the same, it's just I don't know. I think I have to send another email to Gernot and Massimo. Like, please do anything you can to just change the
yeah.
headlights before we get out. I mean, like literally, I walk on the streets of Doha here, and every
Right.
single car has the split headlights. Every Mitsubishi, every Chevy, every Chinese, every Jetta, every BY. Everybody have the split headlights.
I remember first in the U.S. it first came out on the Jeep Cherokee, and I was
Oh yeah.
like, a friend of mine was like, "This is going to be the future." Like, please no, like I can't stand it. And
Everybody was laughing from
it's everybody.
Multipla.
Yeah,
Remember? It was also
right,
on the Juke. It
right.
was so ugly. Everybody was like, and now it's all right. And now when I see it on, yeah, I mean, I can't. Every time I think about it, I get so emotionally upset.
You're right. Do you think it's I like it almost seems like it's so copied. Like there's got to be a reason they're doing it. And I started wondering if it's not like a
Oh,
they're
I know
trying to
the
move
reason.
that. Is it because they want the headlights to be lower so it's not blinding other like
No,
if I
no, 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 no. This has nothing to do with this. Is I don't know. Somebody said that, but this has nothing to do with not flashing or whatever or blinding somebody. No, this is about that manufacturers want the thin, nice looking DRLs.
okay.
That's it. That's all there is because there's these Gen Z designers or whatever. They think, oh, thin
Yeah.
headlight. And then they will not fit the normal. So let's just hide, quote, the main beam, which just look, I mean, like for example, the Mitsubishis or whatever, if you like the
Right.
Outlander or something, just take a look at the headlights of this car, like not the LEDs. the basic headlights, they look like squares. They just put them like somebody would put an eye and a forehead on a human, you know? It just looks so
Right.
ridiculous. I can't look at these cars, and there's almost everywhere, and it's like I can't take this. It
Yeah.
looks like freaks,
Well,
and
that's the hard part that I don't get. I mean, obviously Massimo's doing his own thing and really bringing design back, so I love that. But like Audi's always had a certain flair for design, and that they
yeah,
did this when like literally everybody had it. Like I
yeah,
someday I'd love to get drunk with Mark Lichty and be like, all right, man, how much of this was you and how much of this was like executives
yeah,
who don't know shit about shit telling you that you have to
yeah,
do this?
yeah, yes.
Because it,
I asked actually. So I asked, what's his name? Marco dos Santos.
yeah,
You know, that is the guy who did delivery of the Formula One car and everything. So we talked a little bit
right,
about this. I told him I dislike the Q3, and he said he understands that. And then I asked him exactly what you said now. What happened to Mark? Like, what happened? He designed so amazingly beautiful cars in the beginning, the RS68, the R7, the
yeah,
RS GT. It was, it was so beautiful. What the hell happened? And then he said, he started to experiment too much, but also he was pressured from the higher ups to do stuff that they wanted to do. He wasn't free
right,
anymore. And when you're not free, you start to maybe lose your touch. I don't
yeah.
know, but I don't think there's anybody that
Well,
like Q3 now. I don't know.
how hard is it? Like you look at the air, like you're mentioning the C7s earlier. That is like De Silva, Piek, Winterkorn. Like these
Oh,
guys had
what?
excellent taste, and so even at the top levels, even if it wasn't De Silva making the decision, you had trust that somebody has a great eye for that. Where like if you have
Yes.
people telling Mark who don't know shit about shit, that must be the worst. I don't know Mark, so I can't speak for him, right? But
Yeah.
like there's part of me that wonders like that must be the worst because they're the head of design, so you know that like whatever comes out is going to be attributed to you, and that
Yeah.
you have these executives who don't know anything who are like, but I really want this. You really need to
Yeah.
do this. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
god, you're killing me.
Exactly. I mean, that
Yeah,
little video that I sent you the other day
yeah,
with an R8 and then the A6. I mean, come
yeah,
on, do you need a bigger proof?
yeah.
It's like yeah, it's terrible, terrible, and I'm scared that it's gonna take a long time to fix this because I mean, like, look at the taillights of this A6 or the Q3 or the upcoming
Right.
Q7. They're all pointing all direction. They go up, they go to the side, they go down. Like, make up your mind where they're
Yeah.
gonna. It's
I mean, at least it's not. I don't know about another brand that. I mean, everybody's doing the light bar. That's true, but like
no,
the kind of triangulation at the end, not everybody's doing that. So like,
not
I
a
guess
lot.
I'm.
No, a lot. Have you seen the Kia K5, Kia K4,
No.
the Chinese Hongi or whatever? It's
Yeah.
been out for 5, 6 years. The taillights look identical.
Well, that taillight, but that taillight also comes from like the first e-tron, right? Like the e-tron did that too, and that's 2019. So
Yeah.
there comes a time though, right? The single frame is some kind of a similar deal where like the single frame was amazing when De Silva starts doing it, but here we are, what now it's 20 years later, and
Yeah.
yeah, and so many people, everybody's done it. Like you can't keep doing the same thing everybody else is doing, even if you started that trend, right? Like you've got to move on.
I have a
So,
faith in Massimo. I really have, and I think he
yeah,
knows the stakes. And I even told him like the other day, I was like, "Listen, Massimo, please just don't follow any other brand. Just do you." And I'm sure I really believe in this guy, and I believe in Gernot. I do, and I have faith in them. And yeah, let's see. Let's see. I think they really know what's going on, and it's when Gernot was sitting a little bit in the Formula One event, and then when my I came with my RS6, and he was sitting inside of it, and I remember what he told me is like, we can't go back and do this, but what we can do, we can implement this in our future cars. And I said,
yeah,
yes, that's exactly what you need to do, you know? So
right.
yeah, that I definitely remember that sentence he said. But other than that, Gernot, I think great guy, easy to, he had a little extra time with me because I think it was in between two meetings in that Formula One event in Doha, and the hospitality, and I felt like he was a little bit more relaxed, and we had some, man-to-man, car guy to car guy talk, and I like the way he thinks, and I really believe that he can help Audi. I really do. So let's hope my hunch is right.
Yeah.
Uh, You
I hope
know,
so.
we spoke, as to almost an hour, but I felt like I need, I don't know, 20 hours with him to say everything I want to
Right.
say. I
We
think in
almost
the
wish like I mean like the hard part is I know there were people like that in Germany, like in Ingolstadt and Neckarsulm, who had that sort of instinct and didn't need to talk to guys like you or me to figure that out, right? Like they knew it themselves.
yeah,
I just wonder how many of them are still there or listened to and in the room. Not many were prior to Dolner's arrival. I hope they are now. Um,
yeah. That's what, yeah,
but
exactly.
that,
Exactly what you're saying. They have to be
yeah,
listened to. Exactly.
right,
Amen. So,
yeah,
because they're still working there.
yeah,
It's like I was talking to this Stefan Farbecker, and he made like, when I made a C7 S6 tribute video. I think it was like 1 week or something. He thanked me and yeah, I did that car and you did
hmm
that. He's all like, oh my God. And he's still working in the company. Frank
yeah,
Lamberti, who did the R8, he's still working in the
yeah,
company. The guy who I
yeah.
met at the,
Frank's been there forever. What a great, he's a
yeah,
legend. He's
yeah,
like an
yeah,
unknown legend, right? Because he's like
yeah,
not the front man, but he's the guy
yeah.
behind the curtain making everything happen.
Yes. Yeah. And then, there was a few people, as I said to you, in the concept C shoot that I had, and they were working in the company he
Yeah.
said that one guy, he started in 19, he told me, I started in 1998 when the S4B5 came out. I'm like, God damn it.
Uh,
That's an amazing time to start. And he's been in the
right.
company, we're talking about almost 30 years, and that guy is still working there. So as you
Yeah.
said, exactly what you said, these great people need to be listened to and
Right.
everything okay. That's the only
Yeah. It's
thing.
fun. It's funny, dude. Like, there's part of me. I'm sure you think this all the time. I know I do, which is like, man, I wish they would just hire me to come in and consult a little bit to try
Yeah.
and help them get themselves out of this funk. But like at the
Yeah.
end of the day, it's not about you. It's not about me. It's about like there's so many of us out there. I'm sure there are plenty of us in
Absolutely.
Ingolstadt and Neckarsulm.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. I feel you, and I hope also what the Speak Up for Audi film did. I think it gave the
Yeah.
voice to people to be more aware that they
I
can
agree.
speak up, and I think it gave them more push and more belief in themselves. And
Yeah.
yeah, I really hope to see that change. It's just a hope that it goes so slowly, but this is automotive industry.
I don't know about Germany in particular, but I'd imagine it was much the same everywhere, which is like it seemed like, particularly as electrics. I'm not here to beat up on electrics, but it seemed like as
No,
electrics kind of came to the fore, and that's okay. This is the new direction.
no.
There are a lot of people who weren't car people who all of a sudden found themselves in power, and a lot
Yeah,
of the people who were the enthusiasts, kind of for whether it's because they rejected electrics, whether it's because they just weren't part of the popular new trend, whatever it may be, found themselves relegated to like trivial, they didn't have much power, nobody really listened to them, whatever, and a lot of them left, not
exactly.
all of them. Yeah, but
But
it's
funny when
nice to
you
see.
say when you say this, exactly what because I connected to you two were talking about the RS e-tron GT, for example, and the e-trons and everything.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
what I found out from this guy that was with me in the concept C shoot that did the TT Club Sport Quattro and was working there with the S4 and everything.
right,
Because I said to him, in my film also I said that you should do sounds in electric cars to awaken emotion like Hyundai did with the Ioniq 5N and everything. And he's like, listen. We did that already. We did it with the e-tron GT.
yeah,
I was listening with my big eyes and big ears. He was like, "We did that on the RS e-tron GT. We had sounds that you could choose from. We had the five-cylinder. We had the V8 twin turbo. We had the V10.
yeah,
Everything was ready. Everything was perfected. But at the end of the day, the people that was in charge, they said, "No, we don't need that." So everything was scrapped, and they were working on that for years. So I'm like,
right,
God damn it, this is exactly what I'm saying. If you would have done that 3, 4 years ago, you would have been a pioneer. You
yeah.
know,
Now you got to
somebody,
follow. Now you got to
yeah,
follow
you
Hyundai,
gotta follow.
right?
So,
Yeah, and it's Hyundai. Like Hyundai is making cool cars now. Like I get it, but
yeah,
like if you're Audi, this proud company that's gone from the '80s until now to like with all
exactly.
this amazing thing, and now you gotta ride shotgun with with
Yeah,
Hyundai because
yeah. One
because you
of the last
hesitated.
things I said to Gernot before we said bye was like, listen, you got 100 year of history. You
Yeah,
don't need to look at other brands. Just look at your history because I really believe that you can be unique now. You are in the position right now that you can be different than any other car brand because Audi can
right.
be. Just look at your history and don't follow other brands, man. Do you? I'm 100% sure that with good leadership and if you listen, you can turn this around to something amazing. And he was like, I agree. So
I think that gives them so much authenticity too. Not just them, but the other kind of legacy brands that like they're so struggling to make sense of Tesla and whatever. But you look now at like Genesis just showed those concepts, right? Like the wagon and the sports car.
yes, hello.
And
That's
like
what Audi. Yeah.
yeah, they're cool looking, but they have no heritage there either. So you're kind of like, well, neat. Is Genesis on the
Right?
map now? That's great.
Yeah.
They're going to Le Mans. Cool.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm for all those things. Good
Yeah.
for Genesis. But like, there's part of it's like Audi can do this stuff, and it's not a
Way
matter of
better.
like right. Yeah, and they could if they come out without if it were Audi coming out with that wagon that Genesis came out with, they could also go look. We have this this whole like lineage of wagons, and they're
Yeah.
amazing. And
Yep. And
there's just so much more authenticity there.
now we have Q3 with split headlights. That's what they
Well, there's
uh
I guess they have to sell some appliances in the lineup, right? Like that's part of the business, but it's when you only want to sell the appliances that you lose me entirely.
yeah, yeah, no, it's like when I read all the comments on my videos and everything because I have been more open about it now. If you see
Right.
now, I've changed my way of doing videos. They're longer. They're almost 20 minutes now because before I was doing the 4 or 5 minutes, with most of music and not much speech.
Yeah.
But now I'm talking because I have to talk. I can't be quiet anymore. I have to talk
No, you're
because
doing a great job, by the way. I don't want to interrupt, but love the shift. It's really great stuff.
thank you, man. And I don't feel like I am talking. I just feel
Yeah.
we are talking, because I
Right.
know that people think exactly the same as me. And I'm in a position where I can say those things and reach out to people. But what people are commenting a lot is those things, that a lot of similar comments are where people actually leave their car at service for 2 days and then get a loaner, which is a new
Yeah.
A5 or new Q5, and everybody are in shock. And I'm not talking about one comment, I'm about hundreds of comments of people saying the same thing. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
believe it when you said it, but now when I get a loaner for 2, 3 days, like, oh my God, So I think more and
Yeah.
more people are speaking up because somebody who had an A6C7 or A6C8 and then they got a new A5 for 2 days and they said, I couldn't even drive this car because I couldn't see which icon was for the air condition on the screen among 50 other icons.
Right.
So um, I don't know, man. But I remember, oh yeah, I remember also what another employee told me that the B10 and the C9 were made under two words. They had to be made cheap and fast.
Hmm. It shows.
There you go. It
Yeah.
shows. So yeah, it's
Yeah, I sat in my first C9 when I was at the dealer. We're finally getting them in the States. I don't think they've done a US launch yet for that car. But but yeah, it's just not
it's not it.
yeah, I don't hate the design. The design, it's a handsome
Potential.
car,
It has
but
potential, absolutely. But it's
right.
just a hole in the front. Like can you stop with these black optics? Like it's enough now. It's fine.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
It's
the
black
dashboard I'm not
hole.
really feeling like it's
Uh,
the way the trim is placed and I don't
yeah.
know. It's just
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
needs
it
like a
also
little
yes, it reflects so much. I was talking about it with the guys I was shooting yesterday because we had that car of mine the icon that I'm finalizing the video and the restoration and
right.
everything. They came there with a brand new A69 and they said it also that you don't have a little I don't know what you call the protection above the instrument cluster to hide from the sun and
Hmm.
everything. You just have the screen with no little roof or ceiling or whatever you call it, cap. I don't know what you know what I'm saying. Like when you have
Right. Like a shade to keep the
yeah,
sun
like
from hitting
when
it.
you have gauges and then you have this little shade over them, right? And on
Right.
these new cars, A5, A6, Q5, Q3, whatever, there's nothing there. So everything
Q6.
reflects.
Yeah.
Yeah, Q6 as well. Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's every time I sit in these new cars, I was like, like how did we get here? And this has to be studied to never be repeated again. Because as
Right.
as we were talking about, we have such amazing people still working at the company. And they are
Right.
saying exactly what we are saying, but they are not heard. So what we can do for them is we can speak so they are heard through us. And that's
Totally.
my tension with the videos that I have to speak up because for me, I have done it all and I have nothing to lose. If they
Right.
want to cancel me tomorrow, they can do that. But I'm still gonna love them and I'm still gonna love Audi and I'm still gonna drive my Audis. But I want only good for the brand. And
Yeah.
sometimes you have to see through that little fog that he's criticizing, but he wants something to happen to
Yeah, it's
good
it's a
again.
criticism because you care. It's not a criticism because you're trying to get people to buy BMW
Yeah.
or Mercedes, right?
Yeah, exactly. And people are, oh, you found a really new way of clickbaiting. You just say, oh, the last this and the last this, and you complain. And I was like, it's so these comments, it's very good on YouTube and everything because you can hide
Mm,
comments that hate you, and when the
yeah,
user doesn't see it, because a lot of them are personal attacks. There's a lot of it,
right.
like, why do you lean towards the car with jeans, or your English is not as it should be, or it's all
Whatever.
these things, like, just and
Yeah,
and and for me, it's like I don't get affected by it at all. Not at all.
right.
Maybe years ago I would be, but I think we have been on social media for quite a while now. We are kind of immune to that. We know how to
Right.
deal with it. I never take it personally.
It's more like I don't get depressed about what I create when I do that, right? It's more like I just start to get down on I remember what the internet was, right? Like back when this is where I become
Yeah.
the old man yelling at the moon for rising in the sky. But like when we were doing Vortex, like you're on those discussion forums, like you're members of clubs, whatever, and you're there to help each other and discover and learn and share in
Yes.
it and whatever.
Yes.
And
Yes.
nowadays it just seems like we're all there to just look at whatever somebody
Tracking.
else does and go, that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. It was like I like the last video yesterday for the RS6 CA tribute,
Right.
and it's like almost 20 minutes long. And
Yeah.
he comments like, I don't understand how you can lean towards the car with jeans. And I'm thinking, all the 20 minutes, that's what you remember.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
I guess it's people who just want to have their voice heard. I don't know, but yeah, it does not move me in any way. So I'm going to continue to do that because I'm very motivated when it comes to now that I can speak up and I have a lot of things to say and I want to do more tributes. I'm starting on the RS5 B8.5 tribute next week. I'm having my B7 RS4 like no, it was always in great condition, but I did a PPF now, and so it's gonna be super, super, like super mint, and I'm gonna do a tribute video to that one because I want to talk about it. I want to tell people
Right.
why it's amazing and the history of it. And me saying that, it motivates me because then I can find um, love for the brand that I had, kind of like
Yeah.
renewed. The new cars are not giving me the love that I need. Does
Right.
it make sense?
Yeah. No, I don't blame you. I'm hoping that this year with the I mean we can't help the split lights, but as the new like there's an SQ7, SQ9, certainly the RS6, RS5s, like uh, um I'm just hoping we start to see some of that shift, and it's easier to see in an RS car than an A. An
Yeah.
RS6 is going to be ultimately way cooler than an A6 is anyway. But um,
Yeah, yeah, Rolf Michel, Audi Sport guy, he promised me that now people are listening and he has more to say and is listened to, and he promised that the future products are going to awaken emotion. So let's see.
yeah.
Um,
Do you do you have any thoughts on? I'm not asking you to talk out of school about anything you might have been told you confidentially, but I don't know if you saw 2 weeks ago, Autocar did a piece where Porsche is definitely retrofitting, or at least according to Autocar. Greg Cable's usually pretty reliable. Is definitely retrofitting an ICE engine in the back of the Cayman and Boxster
mhm.
718 EB. So I'm
People,
curious whether
people,
Audi follows suit,
they have to. They have to. I mean, why
right?
would they not? Such an amazing history. It's I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not
No,
an
great. Well,
electric.
so yeah, well, I don't hate EVs. Like I think we have an e-tron now, and it's a good vehicle for what it is. Like I've had a Rivian; it was actually a pretty great product, but I don't know. That seven like would I buy a Concept C if it's only EV? Maybe I will. I'm not saying I won't. I'm curious how they
Uh,
execute it.
But you said something there when I'm always saying that so much, like when I was driving the S6 and it did the
Right.
4.2 to 100 and all of that, and the e-tron, RS e-tron GT is probably going to do that in 2.8 or whatever. That
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It's
Right.
how the car does it and what the drama it
Yeah. Yeah.
creates, the
100%.
feeling. It doesn't
Right.
matter. Like, my B7 RS4 probably does it in 4.5 seconds, and oh my God, I'm smiling. You can probably do laps around me in that Rivian of yours. I don't mind
Right. Yeah.
because I'm smiling and you're
So
not. Well, probably.
The Rivian was a great product, and it wasn't necessarily about being a great
Yeah,
driver. I mean, it actually is quite fast and handles quite well,
yeah,
but um,
yeah,
but it's just not. There's no gear shift. It's all on the. It's a stock,
yeah,
and and there are
yeah.
no paddles. There's no anything to like really engage. You just steer and point the
True.
throttle, and that's what I say. Why how they execute the Concept C is whether it's ICE or EV is I don't just want fake gears. I want to be able to control the dynamics of the car with the torque braking. I want the
Yeah,
sound to like tell me things about what the car is doing, not just be piped sound to me.
yeah,
It can
yeah,
be synthetic. I don't care. I just want it to tell me
yeah.
stuff. I want it to be functional and there be a reason for it.
That's
Yeah,
correct. I agree with that. It has to be. Yeah, I don't know. It's just if you make a car with 3,000 horsepower and 0 to 100 or 0 to 60 in 1.8, it's like okay,
yeah,
it's not exciting anymore. Like all
yeah.
right, okay, and
Right.
like so,
When
it's just
it's so much more fun to drive a slow car fast, right? Like one of the most
oh yeah,
engaging R8s I think is the for me is the 4.2, right? Like because it's not the fastest, but it's
oh
great
yeah.
balance, great chassis,
Oh,
dynamics.
absolutely. Oh my God, it makes it smile so much, so much. Just like the B7 does, the RS4 and
Right? Yeah. I wish they'd have done a manual on
yeah.
The B8 RS5. That would have been a cool car.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah, yes. Well, I'm driving a lot, that B8.5 RS4 of mine, and with that Caprice exhaust, it sounds so freaking
Yeah.
awesome, but it does not have any torque in the lower, RPMs.
Doesn't
Nothing
it?
is happening. And as you said, if the B8.5 RS4 really had a manual, that would have been awesome. But but
I,
but it
I,
still
I
is a
was
great.
chatting. I was chatting with a buddy. I was at the dealer yesterday getting those wheels put on, and
Yeah.
a guy who's like the guy who does their social media is really like tied into like a lot of the Audi enthusiasts in the area. And he was reminding me there's a guy in New Jersey who's done a bunch of swaps, but one is yeah, like he had a V10 and a C4
Oh,
S6.
oh yeah,
But
no, 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 no.
right,
RS6 Jolo
yeah.
something or heart
So
attack.
apparently he has a manual all road.
Yes, the
So
V8
B8 B8
or
all road
V8.
manual
Oh yeah,
RS
okay.
swap.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, it was
So,
yeah, it is RS6 Jolo. He had a not pink, purple C4
yep,
S6.
yep.
Yeah, 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 with a
He
beard.
parted it out recently. Like I think he
Yes,
sold
yeah, yeah, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
roller
of course.
and
Yeah, yeah. We
right.
talk from time.
I
RS6 Jolo, J-O,
yeah,
Jolio, Joel Francisco. Yes.
right.
Yes,
And
RS5 Swap V5 2013, all road on bags. Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I think
Yep.
I've
The
met
perfect
him
car.
a couple times, but I
The
didn't
perfect
realize
car.
he had a manual swap to RS spec all road. And like the wagon's cool, but part of me would love if I could just get. Apparently, he made it all work. You don't have any lights.
Yeah,
Everything works.
yeah.
Like to
No, no,
to
he's
do
he's amazing. And he put
yeah,
the 5.2 in the RS4 also.
right.
V10.
I'd settle for just like a manual swapped B8 RS5 coupe.
Yeah,
Like
man.
that to
That's
me
the
would be a
perfect
great
car.
car.
That is the
Yeah.
perfect car. Absolutely. It's like also, you know what is also very nice? They put the V8 twin turbo in the
Yeah.
B85 RS5 or RS4 and
Yeah.
RS5. I've seen
Yeah, I
that.
mean that's cool, and I'm sure it's ridiculous in a very cool way. But part of me is like, again, like I don't need to be that fast, and that's going to put more weight in the nose, right? Like, well, maybe not more weight than the 4.2. They're probably pretty close to each other. I
Engine,
don't know.
man. The V8 twin turbo. Oh man, the smile that I get every day from my RS6, I just can't get enough. And I've owned this car now for
Yeah,
7 years. And the amount of smile I'm having every single day, like when I know I'm gonna go to work and I have a 25-minute drive, I
yeah,
smile. I go down, I start it up, I smile. I drive, I smile. Every red light, I smile. It's
yeah,
like when the car isn't for service 2, 3 days, I feel like I lost my arm. I have to have that RS6. I don't have the feeling with the other cars I have. Not the B5, not the B7,
Really?
the, oh, just that. The RS6 has
Just that
that.
car.
And whoever has that car understands that. And you guys
Yeah.
at the RS7, yes, it's similar, but it's not a wagon and it's not as
Right.
beefy. And it's that, as you said, that the haste car, it's to me the C8 can never be a C7. I mean, I said it
Right.
now in the video that I did a tribute for. I still think the C8 is an amazing car, which it is,
Sure.
absolutely, but it
Sure.
just
Sure.
doesn't have C7.
Well, the other problem with the so I had that. I went from that blue RS6 to eventually got into an RS5 competition. And I think that's where I'm like, what I love about the B9 RS5 competition or RS4, which we didn't get, is the size, right? Like if I'm in that RS6, and I suspect even the C7 RS6 because I've driven the RS7 of that era,
Yeah.
is that like it's such a wide car. You're not really if you're keeping it between the lines on the road, you're not really picking an apex. You're just keeping it between the lines because it's just so
Yeah,
big and wide,
the
kind
funny
of like
thing
the
is
modern
people move.
911.
Yeah, people
Yeah,
move. That's the funny
right.
thing. You see that C7 comment in your mirror, you move.
Well, yeah. But I'm just talking more like if I'm on a winding road and I don't want to be crossing the middle line, like I
Yeah.
want to be able to kind of pick my lines and have some fun with that, and that's part of the fun. And when I was
The
in my
RS5 does that better.
RS6,
Yeah.
I could. It's just not. It's too damn big. So like that's where like I think the B9 was such a perfect size, and the C7s to me are just like a little bit. If I'm on the highway, I want it. It's nice and roomy, and I love it. But if I'm on a tight road, the B to me has always been the right size.
Yeah, the C8 definitely handles better than the C7, absolutely, because of the
Yeah,
four-wheel steering and the adaptive air suspension, all of
yeah, right.
that around more. But how often do you turn that
Yeah,
hard?
no.
So
I
that's
mean
the thing.
that
Yeah.
that's totally when I got my SQ. Part of me is I am traditionally anti SUV, so that I have this SQ8 is kind of I feel like I'm a traitor to myself. I should be back in an
Yeah.
RS6,
That's a
but
great car.
it is a great car, and I love the
It's
kind
not
of
that
Ur
far
Quattro
behind from
seat.
the C8. Yeah, when you compare, how do you compare to the C8 R6 that you had? Very similar.
Very similar. Yeah. It's to me the SQ8 especially is like a big GTI, like a big luxurious, more capable GTI. Um, it's more like a hot hatch, just giant than
It
a
sounds so good. Sounds really good.
yeah. And I love the C pillar design. It's a shame they've moved away from that, where like it wasn't really a Q7 Sportback. Like I don't know what you would call it, but that
But
kind
you
of
know,
straight C
yeah,
pillar
yeah,
that looks
yeah.
like an Ur Quattro. Um,
Exactly. That's what Frank Lamberti told me when he
yeah.
designed the Q. He told me it's coming straight from the Sport Quattro.
Yeah, they
So
should have done that on. Like, could you imagine if the Q5 had that? Right, like the SQ5, when they come out with the RSQ5, like what a handsome car that would be. Because
yeah,
like I don't,
actually,
I look at the Sportback Q5 and I'm like, nah, I'm not feeling
yeah,
it.
no,
Um,
no.
but like a Q5 with that Q8 roof would be
Oh, yeah, that would be
rad.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Anyway,
that's yeah. Congrats on the SQ8. Really, you're gonna keep
yeah.
it stock.
Thanks. I don't know. We'll see. I did the wheels.
And you guys
Uh,
have an SQ8.
it's just a driver, right? Like that's what I use to move my kids around, and um, the toy is or I have like I said, I have that Radiator Quattro. I have a 964, and I just picked up. Oh, you'll hopefully appreciate this. I just picked up a Mark One TT. So
Oh,
it's
welcome
yeah,
to
right.
the fleet. Which
Thank you.
one?
Mine's I got
Oh, tell
a
me,
friend. I haven't put it online yet. I will soon, but like it's aviator gray on
3.2,
gray leather. So kind of. I'm sorry.
3.2.
It's a 1.8T 225
Oh,
horsepower quattro.
that's like mine. That's like mine.
Yeah.
Roadster
This car
or
it's a coupe aviator gray, and a friend of a friend had it, and it was his. He works at Apple. He's doing
Mhm.
well, so he got himself a GT4 RS. I think maybe a Spider, and he's had this TT since 2011. He track prepped it, so like he wasn't like racing it, but it has a really hard coilover setup on it. It's amazing. It's not a short shifter, but the shift is definitely weighted
Mhm.
and feels so much better than any Mark IV I've driven before.
Yeah.
and it needs a couple little things here and there, and it wouldn't be my first choice in color spec. It's like aviator gray on gray leather, so it's not,
Isn't
you've
it
got that beautiful.
crazy how a car like that can make you smile this much?
Oh my gosh, I forgot how good they were. I got in it and I
Yes,
was like, dude,
same here.
I own a
Yes,
964 is like, if for me as well, is like the
yeah,
ultimate, right? And then I go
yeah,
back and forth between the two cars, and like the TT is
yeah,
definitely faster, and
yeah,
and the shifting action, whatever he's got going on in that car, it
yeah.
feels as good or better than the 964. And like for the money of what the 964, I bought my 964 years ago when they were much cheaper, but like for the money to spend to buy either one of these cars, they're very similar size. Like I've spent $5,000 on this car. Like I didn't buy it for much at all, and
Yeah. It
you
shocks you
can't.
how wonderful.
Yeah, what else could you buy for $5,000? Not much,
And that interior.
right? They spent so much money on that interior.
Yeah. And it's
No,
it's the design of it, the quality, the aluminum feel
right?
everywhere, the air
Yeah,
vents, the steering wheel, everything. No, that car is, that's why I bought it. I never planned to have a TT. I just
right.
accidentally got into one. I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah,
but when I got into one, that was like a front wheel drive 180 horsepower coupe. And I was like, holy shit. And I started to look for them. And then I found this roadster with a baseball. I'm like, okay, I'm getting that. So
yeah,
it's no, it's that really blew me away last year. There when I drove the TT the first time, I was like, holy shit, like
yeah,
wow, because of the soulless cars of today, and you jump into something of that makes you smile so much, and they are so
yeah.
cheap.
They are, right. And I think back then, I thought it was a cool car. Like, I remember when it came out, and it was like when I had a press car for a week and it had just come out, I was like a
Yeah,
rock star wherever I drove. Like, everybody was asking me questions about the car, and
yeah,
it just had this presence. But then you sort of like forget, right? Like the Mark II comes out and the 5 cylinder, and like, you don't even think
yeah,
about the Mark I anymore. The
yeah,
aluminum chassis, like the second and third generation cars had all this
yeah.
amazing hardware that you're like almost forgot about that Mark One, but the Mark One stylistically has something the others don't.
Yes,
And
but now, so many years
yeah,
later, the Mark One is
yeah,
cooler than Mark Two
right.
for
Mark One
me.
is probably the coolest. No, I agree.
Yeah,
I mean, I love,
yeah. The
you know,
third one is the TTRS. I would love to
yeah,
own one third generation RS, man. That car
right.
is such a great car.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
but no, that's crazy. There you go. TT. That's congratulations. So that
yeah.
yeah.
Thanks.
What wheels does it have?
At the moment, they are like an aftermarket. He had like a lighter. They poke a little bit out from the chat. Like it was set up for track. The tires are aged
Mhm.
out at this point. He wasn't driving it as much, so I've got to replace that next. I think I'm going to try and get maybe some of the what would it be like the B5 RS four wheel if I can find a
That's
set of
the one I
those.
got. Yeah, that's the one I
Yeah,
got. It's that or the Avos from the
yeah,
S4B5. I think those were on the
right.
TT. The Avos.
They did have like an Avis, but like the S4 one was on the S3. Like the
Yeah.
identical design
Oh,
was on the S3. But there's like a later Avis too that's like looks kind of like what was on Rosemeyer, the
yeah.
Project
Yes.
Rosemeyer.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
might. Those are super cheap, and I can find them pretty easily. So I might do a set of those.
I'd like to get myself an S3 as well, the first generation. I probably just want,
Yeah,
but I just gotta find room for my cars because I
right.
don't have space anymore.
That's that's the hard part, right? Like I start to get to the point where like you get it a couple of cars, and like for me right
Yeah,
now, my kids are living in the house, and like we got my
yeah,
one kid an A5, an older one, and the TT I'm gonna let my other daughter use for her work this summer when she's going to work. But like you start to get to the point where like it's a chore to keep keep up with all the cars and make sure they're all
yeah.
running properly and whatever else. So as much as I'd like to add a couple cars, like I don't know where I'd find the time to maintain them.
Yeah. I would like to have like a hangar or like a storage or something.
Yeah,
When I put like 20 cars, kind of
yeah,
like a few collectors have. Like the gear collector or whatever they're called. It's
right.
really cool
Oh
to
yeah,
but
like his setup.
yeah, it's not only this. Yeah, exactly the setup. How he's made the whole garage and everything.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's definitely something I would love to have, but and who knows?
I
Maybe
was at
one day.
this. I don't know if you saw on Instagram when I got the wheels on my car. I posted some like a reel from like a studio. Like a friend of mine was
Yeah.
at this place outside of Philadelphia called Motor Union, which is like a guy who used to run Enthusiast Spec, I think still does, and he's basically doing like car storage, and he set up this amazing photo studio in there that like you just kind of roll cars in. He's doing a lot of photography for like Bring a Trailer and some auction houses and whatever. And uh, and I'm looking at the set. Of course, it's 7,500 square feet. I don't know what that would be metric, but it was this very large space. He's got a bunch of other cars for clients that he's storing.
Yeah.
But I was like, if I could get a setup like that, that would be.
Yeah.
Then maybe I'd be tempted to get more cars.
Right. Yeah. That would be yeah. Just buy
Oh,
land to get, you know,
yeah,
a little garage and yeah, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see how, where we end up. But yeah, definitely the cars on the list will be S3 for me, the first generation. That what they call 8L. That's the first one,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's a really nice one. That's basically the same engine when we got in the TT, I mean,
totally.
first it had 210, right? And then facelift was 225. Such a good looking car. Maybe you in
Yeah,
America get a 225 only.
we
Or
we
you
didn't
get
get. We only got the TT. We got the 180 and the 225, and
Oh,
then
you didn't get the
we did the
S3.
32.
Yeah, because now I'm
Nah.
confused because Tyler bought his, but he bought his in Mexico, didn't he?
Yeah, now
The-
they're old enough to import, so we can
oh,
bring them
okay.
in now.
Yes, correct. You didn't get those. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I would love to have, there's so many cars. There's so many. I would love to have a PTRS. Actually, I said that the Mark II was probably the least wanted of all the
Right.
three generations, but I would love to have a Mark II TTRS manual Roadster. That would be freaking awesome
Uh, we didn't get the
because
Roadster on that one, but
that came in
that's
manual.
yeah, that would be. And they only did. Did you guys get TSG in those cars? We only got manuals for the Mark II
Yeah, we can
TTRS.
both. We can both.
Uh,
Then I would love to have an A1 Quattro as well, the limited.
oh yeah, yeah. One of the white ones, right? Like
That's
the
the one. Yep,
not
yep,
not
yep.
the S one, but yeah.
Yeah, the A1.
Oh, that was the other one I got to drive to. Was the Club Sport in Las
Sport. That's a
Vegas.
five cylinder.
Um,
Yeah.
that one was neat.
The guy was talking. The guy that was in the concept C thing was talking. He was developing that car, the A1 as well. But the crazy thing, is when we were saying that everybody were, looking at the TT when you drove it back in the days, you know what? That's the same reaction that people got when we were driving the Concept C on the street.
Concept C,
I have not seen the reaction of people like this for a long, long time of a car. It's
right?
crazy. It's crazy,
That's excellent. I can't wait to um, see it on the road when it finally
Yeah.
arrives.
It looks like nothing out there, It just, even though it's today when it's difficult to shock, I think that
Yeah.
car is unique. I
Do you
still,
think
I
they're? Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just something still have a little hard time with that front grille. How's that gonna work? But other than
Did you
that,
see somebody just did what's his username on Instagram? I shared it on the AI account I do, but it's he
the
made
A4
some
and
race
Q5.
car. I'm sorry.
He did an A4 and Q5 with the style design of the Concept C.
No,
That
no,
one?
no, no. It's I'll have to dig up the username. I'm using my phone to record right now, so otherwise I pull it up. The he did the a rally car and two GT3 posts it's basically Concept C, but he made the grill more square, widened it,
Yes, that's
and
what it is.
and yeah, and it looks so much. I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very unique the way it looks now, but the historical references you see people throw out that have to do with German
Yeah,
leaders of history,
yeah.
that like
That's
it's not a great reference. So as cool as I think it, or unique as I think it is, as they've designed it, I think they're going to have to change it a little bit.
let's hope they do. Well, we'll see, man. It's
Uh,
I just hope things get better. I'm very excited on the RS5, but at the same time anxious that I may be disappointed that they didn't do changes enough that we expected.
yeah,
But Rolf Michel told me so many times that you're gonna see, you're gonna see, you're gonna see. So now is the time when I'm gonna see, and I just don't want to be disappointed. I really don't. And I don't have much like expectations. I just want the small details that we all loved Like we were
Right.
talking about from the first generation TT or something, the small details on the interior that tells you, hey, this is an Audi. We are different than other brands.
Right.
I really see that. But can they
No,
do can they pull it off on a B10 that is so new?
I agree. I'll tell you what so if Massimo's listening, the couple of things I would recommend he does, like I know you mentioned the aluminum rings and some things. I would love to see them update the Audi Sport branding on the cars to reflect the new F1 colors. So how the
Yeah.
F1 colors are sort of a modernized take on the old like 80s tricolor Audi Sport rhombus, like the brown,
Yeah, yeah,
you know what I
yes,
mean?
yes. The one that is
Yeah.
on an R6 GT.
Yeah, so if they did a new one that was like the kind of carbon black, the kind of the titanium and red, like on the F1
Yeah,
car,
with the red splitter, front splitter.
right? But if they did a
Yeah.
badge that incorporated those colors,
That's,
and then whatever his new font is on that car, I think that would be some amazing detail work, and it would kind of move Audi Sport in a new, fresh direction. Um, I'm going to jump quick. All right, Audi Sport. That's my other question. I'm curious if that came up in any of your discussions with any of them. Audi F1 or Audi Revolut F1, whatever, does not use any Audi Sport branding at all, like nothing anywhere. And I'm curious if that's intentional and what that means for Audi Sport in regards to branding or these cars or customer racing. Or I know customer racing is kind of withering, but
I
any
haven't given
ideas?
that thought. Like now that you say it,
Yeah,
that's true. There's not a single Audi Sport logo out there.
nowhere.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
that
curious
is.
because somebody said to me something once that that maybe there might be people in Germany. I don't know if this is one of the conversations you and I had or maybe with somebody else, but that like there are people in Germany who don't want Audi Sport, right? Not not Döllner, I don't mean him, but like there are powers that be or factions inside Audi who don't see the value or didn't
Yeah,
maybe
that's
before.
yeah, that's the what was it? The Mans, Voigtman and Duzman. Those didn't want the Audi
Right.
Sports. Um,
Yeah.
the lovely
So
couple
that's
that destroyed the brand.
when
Yeah.
I don't see any Audi Sport branding on any of that stuff, it's a little alarming to me, right?
But yeah, you see it on the A3 instead. Yeah, correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's man. I don't want any more alarming things now. We've had enough the
Right.
last three, so no more alarming things. I can't
Yeah, well,
take any. I can't take
if
even
you
one
talk
more.
if you talk to Massimo, maybe ask him why that's not on the car. I'm curious why. Um, I mean, it
No,
doesn't necessarily need to be F1. Maybe its own thing, and it always seems like F1 teams or like Mercedes,
yes,
AMG, Petronas,
yeah,
is kind of not
exactly.
exactly Mercedes Sport. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe there was a that was maybe a wish from the Formula One team, maybe from when they went in with Sauber or anything. The
right.
sponsorship, I don't know, maybe money, money.
Yeah, you
So.
never know, and it's cleaner. I know Massimo likes minimalism, so Audi F1 is shorter than Audi Sport F1, whatever. But it would be cool to tie it back, right? To get those colors on the Audi Sport rhombus and kind of start fresh with these cars would just
The
be
only, it's, I just want to feel a tiny little bit of hope. I
yeah,
felt it when I saw the concept C the first time, but then it's been a while now. It's been
right.
half a year, more
Uh,
than six
uh,
months now.
and I'm a little mixed on Concept C. I love it, but there's some details about it that
Yeah, I hate
I'm
the
not.
fact there's no AC controls and buttons and the front
Yeah,
and but overall, there's a lot of things that
that
are really good.
that it for me it's that it from what we know of right now, nothing's been confirmed, right? But I think it's fairly safe to say that what they've said in the past, electric only. We'll see if they do an ice.
Oh my
Um,
God.
and if it's the Targa top only versus like a coupe or a roadster, um, I feel like they looked at the hardware and were like, all right, well, 718 is going to be a roadster and it's going to be a coupe, so we're going to be neither, and we're going to take the mechanism from the 911 Targa and we're going to make something very unique that's all in one. And that's cool for people who aren't car people. If you're just like, a person who, obviously Massimo he actually was said he's not a car person. He's into watches. He's very into design and very talented. But like, if you're a if you just want a style car, like buying a 911 Targa is a really interesting style decision, and I love the Targa for its style. But if you look at 911 owners, like the coupe is the car that the hardcore folks buy, and I guess that's my or the convertible is the one you buy if you want to, if you're at the beach or you're living in California or you're whatever you want open top motoring. The Targa is kind of just more of this quirky style thing, and if we only had the quirky style thing, right? Like for the design standpoint, that's very unique, and I can see where that would vibe with Massimo. But I'm concerned that if that's you're only making the quirky roof and you're only making the quirky, electric drivetrain.
Yeah,
I don't
that's the
expect
thing.
it
You
to.
have to, yeah, yeah, you have to mix the style with emotion. They cannot
Yeah,
forget about style and
it
emotion. Have to
might
go hand in
it,
hand.
it it might win awards. It might get a lot of comments at red lights and restaurant, cafes and stuff. But I just if it needs to be commercially successful, I feel like they're tying a couple arms behind their back. Like, right,
Yeah, yeah, they have to. I mean, I think number one for Audi right now is bring back emotion to the cars. That's it. That's the
right,
only thing they have to think about. Of course, the design as well, but I think emotion is priority. Emotion and design actually hand in hand. They go hand in hand because Audi is
yeah.
emotion and design, right? That's what we.
It it's
Yeah.
emotional, but I think that the trick for Audi, this is just me speaking my own perception of the brand, is that like Audi has always been in this interesting space between German logic and efficiency and Italian flair and design and emotion, right? So you have this sort of like, you look at like the early days, even in the 70s, right? You have the very boring B180, but then you have
Yeah.
like Giugiaro and Piek kind of playing with that, the Asso di Pice and then the Quattro, which is this more emotional take on the very, kind of like logical 80 sedan, right? And I think that's where when you kind of blend the two, quattro being an Italian word, and like bring this kind of exotic sexiness to what's just very logical. That's what Audi needs to be. It needs to be both, and I think like if it goes to like the Concept C is very emotional. It's very design oriented. It seems more Italian, but it still needs that logical, efficient,
Yeah.
powerful kind of
It
thing
needs
too.
to awaken emotions and make your heart tick and
Yeah,
that's the all I that's all I hope. It's
right.
somehow we get out of their new cars and not
Yeah,
only
yeah,
do that they drive well, that we enjoy sitting inside of them
right.
uh, because they need to throw that interior out as far as it goes right now and completely redesign the whole interior. That that
I,
that
I have a
it's not gonna work.
I have a question for you and your taste. If you go back to that time of, let's say, um, Mark II TTRS,
Mhm.
like Mark II TT, or,
2010.
or yeah, maybe this is a bad analogy, but because the TTRS exists. But would you like let's go to like Mark One TT, Mark One TT or B5 S4 or RS4? Which one speaks to you more?
Well, for me, it's easy, the B5 RS4. But when
Yeah,
I think about it longer and logical, what it meant for the brand, for the
right.
style, for everything, that would be
Yeah.
the T.
Yeah, well,
My
but
heart
that's the
said,
two flavors, right? The A4, I mean, it had great proportions. It was interesting, but
yeah,
it wasn't this like until you threw the
yeah,
flares of the RS4 on it, and even then, it's still kind of a very logical car.
yeah,
And the TT is this flamboyant sort of, but TT is on golf and it has Huldex and it's not the
yeah,
mechanical differential and like the hardcore engine and like all the things that the S or RS4 had. And so
yeah.
like I think that's the thing, right? Like if you lean too hard, if we look back on TT, it's a style icon, and everybody looks back on it fondly. But if you ask the like the performance car nerds, the
Of
people who
course, the
want
B5
like
RS4. There's no question
right,
about it because that's
right,
for me.
and that's my concern about Concept C is that it's more almost literally TT Mark One, right? Which is like it's this excellent design, but it's compromised because they've made it so quirky, so emotional that it misses the mark for the people who get spoken to by the mechanical, the performance and that stuff, right?
Yeah. But they didn't release the concept they did with the B5 RS4 engine and then 2.7
Right.
bi-turbo.
Yeah. Wasn't that car
Cool.
weird? That car was so
Yeah,
fascinating.
that's a bit weird. Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, the
I want to know
B5R
how
is
I'm
yeah.
curious how they did it, right? Because you have the longitudinal engine, you have the mechanical all-wheel drive system in that car. I wonder how close they were to actually producing that.
That's crazy. They were very close to also produce the Quattro concept from 2010, and there's a lot
Yeah,
of good things that were not produced.
right.
I just hope that it's not over. It can be over. I
Yeah.
feel making all these videos and constantly, I'm not gonna say nagging, but constantly looking back. It's becoming tiring to constantly compare to what was
Mm,
happening before, because as you say, I don't want to be that guy that's stuck in the past, but I
right.
don't think we are. I just because when you think about it, if we go back to the TT era or end of the 90s, beginning of the 2000s, we loved those times. But
Right.
then we loved also the 2015s with the B8.5 RS5. We were not saying, oh, it was better before. No, because those products were amazing that were coming out. And now those products that are coming out now are not amazing. That's why we're looking back. So it's not like, oh, we don't want anything that's new. No, it's not
The,
like that. But that's how it
the
feels.
Yeah, the danger you run into, I kind of experienced when I started working with Audi Club because the stereotype about Audi Club members, it's not an accurate stereotype, but the stereotype inside the corporation about Audi Club members, this is the US, I can't speak for Germany,
Yeah.
was that the fixation was on the good old days, like the
Yeah.
the old cars that they no longer make, and if or even
Yeah.
service or repair at dealerships anymore. And but for us at the time I was getting involved with Audi Club, it was the B5 was kind of the go-to car to
Yeah.
point to that like nobody services at the dealer anymore. And so there's really no business case for like the challenges make Audi Club relevant to their current business, and then everything is cohesive and works together. And the challenge with Audi executives at the time, and I would imagine still is that like um, it needs to be relevant to their current business, and so if we're constantly looking backwards, it is a health thing. And it's not that like I think it's natural. I think what you're saying is completely accurate, which is like because of they've kind of intentionally to bring profits back in to cover Dieselgate and electrics or whatever, they've cheaped out some of the product that like
Yeah.
and they've struggled with design, whatever else, that like it's natural to look back. But I think the trick is like not doing too much of that, not leaning too much on looking back,
Yeah. But how
or
do you
looking
do that with
back more
new
to
products? Yeah, don't speak to you, right? The new products don't
or,
speak to me at all.
yeah, for me, it's like when I'm looking for content for the site, it's more looking back in a way that sort of celebrates the heritage than it is
Yeah.
like, why do new cars suck? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like if,
No, but it's like the RS6 C8 is probably the last car, or the SQ8 that you have, and then
yeah,
you see the B8, sorry, the B10 and the C9. They've been out a year. I have not
yeah,
posted many because I don't want to,
right,
because it
right.
doesn't make
Yeah,
me
well,
feel like, I'm kind
look,
of like cringing all the time, like,
yeah.
ah,
What I always used to tell people when we were doing Vortex, less so at Audi Club, but um, is you? I would do it, and I'm sure you do too. We have this line as kind of a brand focused content creator.
yeah.
You've got to walk this line. If I only say, "Man, that new A6 is the best thing ever," then I'm not credible to the people who care about the
Uh,
brand, right?
yeah, I feel like
Uh,
that's where car war is right now. You know,
right. Yeah.
you know
And
what I'm saying with that.
yeah, so like that, but at the same time, if I only say like, man, remember the good old days when they used to make
Yeah,
X and they don't anymore, then now I'm not relevant to Audi, right? And
that's
so
one of the facts.
it's a tightrope you've got to walk where like I've got to be relevant to both and I've got to be authentic to both. And so one of the reasons I bought the SQ8 is because um it's like I don't really just candidly I'm not drawn to the I would buy probably if I buy anything right now it'd be the SQ8 or the B9.5 RS5 until the new stuff comes
There's no way
out.
I'm gonna buy anything new. Like I mean, think
I
about it.
wait and see, right? Like
Yeah,
maybe if they do these updates to the interior, or they, maybe the one of those cars will surprise me. When the RS5 comes out, maybe they've spent more now materially because there's more of
So I hope so
a
that the
higher
art
price.
starting to be the turning point.
Right.
That's why the
So like
stakes are high.
yeah. So for me, it's just I don't really. I mean, obviously, I'm talking about it on the podcast or whatever, but like, I don't really. I'm not going to buy the current A6. I'm not going to buy the B10 most likely. But I'll sit on this SQ8 until or something else until something else comes out that I like, and then I'll move on to something newer because I don't want to. Like we said earlier
You
in the
get
thing, right? I don't want to be off warranty, but
yeah,
but
a good
but
analogy. Your SQ8 is 2026, 25,
it's a 2024.
24. Okay.
Yeah.
But in real life, that car is almost 10 years old.
The 2024 SQ8. Oh, it's a facelift. Yeah, it's the final.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
basics of the car that they made that car 10
Hmm.
years ago, a decade ago.
The
That's
first
what
Q7 was 2018, 2019.
yeah, but the development, they started probably
Yeah.
already, so the thing
Well,
is
that chassis
yeah,
2018 production year.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
that's why it's still awesome because
Yeah.
whatever came after that, it does. I mean, you probably had to pay me to drive the new A5 on a daily basis because I would be a headache for me in terms of usability, and just in terms of just when you don't want to have a headache from driving and all this
Yeah.
stuff that is coming up to you, all the beeping and all of that, you don't want to have it, and the confusing screens but
Right.
it's like the lack of quality. I would not be able to daily a car like that.
I
For
wish
me,
you could. Well, that's the other thing, man. There ought to be with so many settings, the infotainment. I mean, you get all these menus and all these
right?
complex electronics. You
Give,
should
give
be
us
able to
a classic
turn.
PT instrument cluster
Well,
digitally.
Volkswagen just did that with their Volkswagen, whatever they just showed this week. I saw the head of design on Instagram posting like almost like a Mark One retro cluster. I was thinking more being able to, like, for instance, my mom doesn't like seatbelts, right? So when she rides in my car, like the moment I move in the SQ8, it is just
Yeah.
constant, and good. It's safer for her. I put the seatbelt on anyway. But there's so many nannies in that car, and to be it or like what is it what's it called when you can't rev the engine in the when it's the rev limiter
Oh, yeah,
when
yeah,
you're
yeah. I mean the A3.
well,
Um,
in any of them, right?
yeah,
we've talked about this so many times where you can't sit like rev it for the kids who just cut off the school bus to
yeah,
show them, right?
yeah,
You ought to be able to this should not be hard to do. Even sell me an app. Let me go into the My Audi app store and pay for
yeah,
an app. I'll
yeah,
pay extra money, right? But like let me turn that shit off and like
yes,
the moment somebody logs into the car that's not me, cool, go back to the default settings. I don't
yeah.
care.
That's
But like I paid for this car. I paid a lot of money for this car. Let me turn it off. There's no law in your country or mine that says I have to have a soft limiter. So
yeah,
like
but you have to do that every single time you turn on the car.
right, but it shouldn't be that hard
No, yeah,
to
yeah,
turn
but
it.
I mean, you have to. So as I was doing the videos that I did now with the tribute of the RS7, RS
Right.
Q, and R6, every time I turn on the car, I have to disengage silent assist, speed
Yeah.
warning,
Yeah.
and some other stuff. Every
Now,
single time.
now, now imagine if you had like the My Audi app. Let's say there's like I'm just spitballing here. Made like the My Audi app plus or like pro service, right? Where I pay. I think with Rivian for in that car it was like $300 a year, maybe. So let me pay $300 a year, and I'm a pro user of my Audi,
Yeah,
and I can go in and turn all those things off, and they stay off when I'm driving the car. Right? Anybody else gets in the car and turns it on, fine,
yeah,
default, don't
yeah,
care.
exactly.
But when I'm in that car, I'm paying that service, right? They'll get $300 extra from me a year to be able to turn that stuff off, no question. And
Yeah.
I would imagine that would be good for their bottom line. I don't know why they don't do it.
There's a lot of whys now. Nah.
Yeah,
Let's see, we're coming into 2 hours almost. It's late night
yeah,
here.
man.
Completely
All right,
exhausted of my adventures that I told you about today, and
yeah.
I've been shooting 3 days in a row now, early mornings and late nights with the card that I'm going to reveal very soon. I'm going to reveal it before January 16th, so it's 10
Okay.
days. Um, So yeah, I think we covered a lot. I don't think we
We
covered
did.
everything. There's always a lot, talking with you is always time goes fast because I think we're very
Right.
similar
Yeah.
in uh, where we come from. So it's always a pleasure talking to you, man.
Always, man. Well, let's catch up again soon. I'd love to cover the bases we didn't cover, and I'm sure as fast as you move, if we wait a couple weeks to talk again, you'll probably have way more things to talk about.
That's gonna be after the RS5 and oh, by the way, the last thing I want to say, I don't know if you know this, but I asked the guys at Audi how many more Mark Lichter car we have, and they said three. So
Three.
we have the Q7, the Q9, and we have the little Q2 or A2 that is coming up, the little
Yeah.
electric Heritage to the A2, which is
Yeah.
also have split headlights and split taillights. So there's
Well,
uh,
I heard they're gonna call it Q2 now, which is weird because it's not a crossover.
yeah, it should be A2, but
Yeah, it should be A2.
oh, so three more cars, and it's a bit heartbreaking, right? Because I respected Mark so much because he had made, I mean, just the first, let's say the A6 e-tron concept was freaking awesome, and the
Right.
production car was a disaster.
Yeah. I think he did. I didn't really. I know you want to wrap this up, so I'll make it short. But the prologue stuff, it used a lot of like the Aston lines on the hood, and the grill started to look a
Yeah,
little Ford like.
yeah,
Um, but he did some really cool stuff. I think he did the Golf Mark 7, if I
yeah,
remember correctly. He did some
yeah.
cool stuff that like I'm
Then
just
he
curious
lost
how
it.
much. Yeah. But
Me too.
I will always wonder. I don't know Mark, but I'd love to ask him someday. Like how
I
much of
mean,
that was you?
those two times that I talked to him, he was very respectful, and I
Yeah.
really looked up to him for a long time. But now he hurt me a lot with the Q3 and whatever,
Right.
the A60 Tron and the Q6. It's just not Audi to me, not at
Yeah.
all. And
Right.
so if you're listening, Mark, I would love to have probably
Yeah.
you to answer on those questions, so at least I can let that go because I really don't think it was only him.
Yeah. And I don't know how much of that you can talk about. At least not. Maybe
Yeah,
catch him over a beer. I don't know if they'd ever talk about it on a mic. But
yeah, true. Anyways,
anyway, thanks for the time, man. Thanks for staying up late.
yeah,
Appreciate you
yeah,
making time for
yeah.
me.
Always a pleasure talking to you, man, and keep doing the great content that you're doing. It's really nice to see you starting
Thank
up
you.
the if you know, you know thingy, and
Yeah.
because it's not easy to start something up from the beginning.
No,
But the
I
persistence.
sincerely appreciate you tagging me and stuff and some of those things.
Oh,
It's
of
harder
course.
and harder to launch new stuff. So
Yeah,
I really appreciate you doing that.
yeah. I tag people that I know have a good, following. I mean, even if the following base maybe is not huge in the beginning, you still have a lot of good
Right.
people that follow you already. I can see that.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
it's just
Thank you.
a thing that Massimo's following you, and
He
it's
is.
ridiculous.
Yeah, dude.
I think about it a lot. For example, when I post like the last week, I posted the 1972 or 72 Audi 100 coupe
The gray one.
GT, the gray one, that one, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
I posted the RS3, the 8V, and he
Yeah.
likes the posts. So kind of like in
Yeah.
the back of my head, I'm thinking I gotta post some cool shit that Audi did back in the days.
Right.
Oh, that's cool. Let me implement that in my new designs.
How
Thank
great is it that he does that, right? Like I think Massimo deserves credit for. We can't be the only ones, but
Absolutely.
like he will like a lot of posts that I make. He will share occasionally, like if I do a story or a post that he
Yeah,
likes. He's shared a couple of them that like this is the head of creative for for the entire globe, and he's taking the time to care
yeah.
that like really
Important.
need
It's
to
important.
see his
Yeah, because
priorities are
he doesn't overdo it. He picks his stuff a lot. I don't think
right.
he's that online, but
Yeah,
when he
right,
I feel very fortunate that, he's looking at my stuff or your stuff, and if there's any way we can influence him a little bit, maybe,
right.
take that chance.
Totally.
And that's the perfect way to wrap things up.
I think so too, sir. Thank you
Uh,
again. Let's talk soon.
have a good day, good night from Doha.
Good night.
The Four Rings, If You Know You Know podcast is part of the Weekly Driver podcast series. For more news and features about Audi, visit the Four Rings If You Know You Know website at fourOOIYKYK.com. That's 4OsIYKYK.com. There you can also subscribe to the Four Rings If You Know You Know Substack newsletter that will keep the latest Audi news and features coming straight to your inbox. Four Rings If You Know is an independent production and not affiliated with the Audi brand. If you know, you know.